Intermittent fasting is often sold as a simple on-off switch. Fast for 16 hours, and your body starts burning fat. Cross that line, and all the health benefits turn on. But what if that switch doesn't actually exist? What if many people who fast for 16 hours aren't burning much fat at all and are instead running on stress? In this video, you'll learn why the clock doesn't control fat loss, what actually decides whether your body uses fat or sugar for energy, why some people feel amazing on 16-hour fasts while others feel stressed, anxious, or exhausted, and why fasting alone often stops working over time, especially for women. And by the end, you'll understand when fasting helps, when it doesn't, and how to use it without fighting against your body. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want more clear, science-based explanations like this. Now, let's get into it. After you eat, your body runs mainly on sugar. When you eat carbohydrates, your body breaks them down into a simple sugar called glucose. This glucose goes into your bloodstream. When that happens, your pancreas releases a hormone called insulin. Think of insulin like a key that unlocks your cells, so glucose can get inside and give you energy, or get stored away for later. As long as insulin stays high in your blood, your body can't really burn fat. This isn't just someone's opinion, this is how your body actually works. Insulin directly stops your body from breaking down stored fat. Even when insulin levels are just moderately high, they significantly reduce your body's ability to use fat for energy. A landmark study, published in the American Journal of Physiology, showed that insulin stops fat breakdown, even at normal levels you'd see after eating a regular meal. This has been proven over and over again in studies where scientists measure exactly what fuel your body is using. In fact, research using special tracking methods has shown that insulin can reduce fat burning by up to 70%, even when it's only slightly elevated. When you stop eating, insulin begins to drop. But it doesn't drop right away. And it doesn't drop at the same speed for everyone. How quickly insulin goes down depends on how well your body responds to insulin, how much muscle you have, how well you sleep, how stressed you are, how much you move around, and what you ate in your last meal, especially how many carbs, how much fiber, and when you ate it. In people whose bodies handle insulin really well, insulin might drop fairly quickly. But in people whose bodies don't respond to insulin as well, or people who are chronically stressed, don't sleep enough, or eat late at night, insulin can stay high way longer than you'd expect, sometimes well into a 16-hour fast. Research from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism has shown that people whose bodies don't respond well to insulin can have insulin levels stay high for 3 to 4 hours longer than people whose bodies respond well, even after eating the exact same meal. This delay completely changes when, or even if, they actually start burning fat during a normal fasting window. Only once insulin stays low for long enough does your body really start breaking down fat and making something called ketones. This is what people usually mean when they say real fat burning. But for many people, 16 hours simply isn't enough time to get there. Instead of switching over to burning fat, the body keeps sugar available through a different method. Stress hormones. Your body releases hormones called cortisol and adrenaline to keep your blood sugar stable for your brain. They tell your liver to break down stored sugar called glycogen, and when needed, they increase something called gluconeogenesis, which is basically your body making new sugar from protein. This keeps you going. But it doesn't mean you're burning fat efficiently. In fact, studies published in a journal called Metabolism, Clinical and Experimental, show that high cortisol actually stops fat burning and causes your body to break down muscle over time. A study found that even modest increases in cortisol reduced whole body fat burning by about 15 to 20%, while at the same time increasing the breakdown of protein in muscles. This is why so many people describe fasting as feeling wired but tired. They might feel alert but also restless, anxious, or mentally foggy. Hunger comes and goes in waves. Energy feels sharp but unstable, like you're running on fumes. That's not your body being flexible with energy. That's your body compensating with stress hormones. Your body is essentially running on adrenaline and cortisol to keep functioning, not on fat that's been released from storage. Another major factor is glycogen. Think of glycogen as your body's backup battery. Your body stores sugar as glycogen in your liver and muscles. Liver glycogen keeps your blood sugar stable between meals. Muscle glycogen powers your movement. Depending on what you eat, how active you are, and how well your body handles insulin, liver glycogen can last anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. Research using special scanning technology has shown that how fast people use up liver glycogen varies dramatically from person to person. In one study, published in the Journal of Applied Physiology, people who didn't exercise much and ate a lot of carbs still had significant liver glycogen even after 18 hours of fasting. If liver glycogen is still available, your body has little reason to fully switch into burning fat or making ketones. 16 hours is often not long enough to meaningfully empty out liver glycogen, especially if your last meal was high in carbs or you ate late in the evening. The liver can store about 80 to 100 grams of glycogen, and at a typical breakdown rate of about 4 to 6 grams per hour while you're resting, that's potentially 16 to 24 hours of sugar available before your body is truly forced to rely heavily on fat. This is why two people can follow the exact same fasting schedule and have completely different experiences. One person smoothly transitions into burning fat, feels calm, focused, and steady. The other person stays dependent on sugar, held up by stress hormones. Same fast, different biology. This individual difference has been documented extensively in research on time-restricted eating, where response rates to identical programs vary by as much as 50% between different people. Exercise changes this situation significantly. Lifting weights and doing intense movement increase how much energy your body needs, speed up how fast you use glycogen, and improve how well your cells respond to insulin. Studies consistently show that when your muscles contract during exercise, they pull in sugar independently of insulin, they lower the amount of insulin circulating in your blood, and they increase fat burning after you finish exercising. A large review published in a journal called Diabetologia found that just one session of resistance exercise improved how well the body responds to insulin for up to 48 hours afterward, fundamentally changing how your body handles the next meals you eat and the next fasting period. This is why exercise is often a more reliable way to improve your metabolism than fasting alone. It's also why fasting without movement often produces disappointing results. When you combine fasting with smart exercise, particularly in the later part of your fasting window, you create a compounding effect. You use up glycogen faster, you improve insulin signaling, and you maintain muscle mass, all of which support genuine fat burning rather than stress-driven sugar production. Another misconception is that longer or more frequent fasting automatically leads to better results. Your body adapts to repeated stress. If 16-hour fasts are done every single day, without enough protein, enough sleep, or enough recovery, your body begins to adjust. The amount of energy your body burns at rest drops. How your thyroid hormones work starts to change. You naturally move around less without even realizing it. Fat loss slows down. Muscle loss increases. Your ability to train well gets worse. This adaptive response has been shown in studies on calorie restriction, fasting trials, and long-term weight loss programs. Research from a journal called Obesity Reviews shows that prolonged calorie restriction can reduce your metabolic rate by 10 to 15% beyond what you'd expect just from losing weight. This phenomenon, known as metabolic adaptation or adaptive thermogenesis, means your body learns to function on less energy, making further fat loss progressively harder. A study published in the International Journal of Obesity tracked people who did daily time-restricted eating for 12 weeks. Although they lost fat at first, the rate of loss slowed significantly after week 6, despite continuing to follow the fasting schedule. Importantly, thyroid hormone levels, specifically one called free T3, declined by an average of 12%, and the amount of energy their bodies burned at rest decreased more than you'd expect just from losing body mass. And this is especially important for women. Female biology is more sensitive to having enough energy available. Chronic energy restriction raises cortisol more quickly in women, suppresses thyroid function, disrupts reproductive hormones, and makes sleep worse. Research shows that women experience larger hormonal disruptions under prolonged fasting compared to men, even when eating similar amounts of calories. A study in the Journal of Translational Medicine found that women practicing daily intermittent fasting experienced a more pronounced decline in a hormone called leptin, and an increase in a hormone called ghrelin compared to men on the same program, leading to increased hunger and reduced feelings of fullness. Furthermore, research on female athletes and something called relative energy deficiency in sport, or RED-S, shows that the part of women's brains that controls reproductive hormones is extremely sensitive to energy restriction. Even modest energy deficits, when continued over weeks, can suppress the signals that control hormone release, reduce estrogen production, and disrupt menstrual cycles. This isn't just about reproductive health. These hormonal changes directly impair fat metabolism, reduce bone density, and compromise recovery from training. For many women, frequent 16-hour fasts do not help with fat loss. They make it harder. The stress response becomes chronic, cortisol stays elevated, sleep quality gets worse, and the body shifts into conservation mode, trying to protect itself. This doesn't mean fasting is harmful, and it doesn't mean 16-hour fasts never work. It means fasting has to match the biology of the person using it. For some people, a shorter fasting window combined with eating enough of the right foods, doing strength training, and getting good sleep produces better results than pushing to 16 hours every single day. Research published in a journal called Cell Metabolism compared different fasting windows and found that a 14-hour fasting window produced similar health benefits to a 16-hour window in overweight adults with better adherence and fewer reported side effects. The difference in fat loss results was not statistically significant, but people in the 14-hour group reported better energy, mood, and consistency over the 12-week study period. For others, occasional longer fasts, used intentionally and not all the time, may be more effective than daily restriction. Periodic fasting, where extended fasts of 24 to 36 hours are done once or twice per week rather than daily 16-hour fasts, has shown promise in some groups of people. A study in the journal Nutrition and Healthy Aging found that alternate-day fasting produced greater improvements in insulin sensitivity and inflammatory markers compared to daily time restriction, despite similar overall calorie reduction. The key insight is this: fat burning is not unlocked by a clock. It's driven by insulin levels, glycogen availability, muscle mass, energy demand, and nervous system state. These variables interact in complex ways that can't be reduced to a simple time threshold. A person whose body responds really well to insulin, with low liver glycogen stores, good sleep, and regular resistance training, may start burning fat within 10 to 12 hours. A person whose body doesn't respond well to insulin, with high glycogen stores, poor sleep, and chronic stress may not reach meaningful fat burning even after 20 hours. And you can test this for yourself. You can get a continuous glucose monitor for a couple of weeks to test how your body reacts to certain foods. These are relatively affordable and easy products that can quickly give you an insight into your body in real time, straight into your phone. I have included a link in the description if you would like to try it at home. So, that being said, 16 hours is not a magic number. It's simply one tool among many. And like any tool, it works best when used in the right context, at the right time, for the right person. Context matters more than the specific program. Your stress levels, sleep quality, training status, hormonal health, and metabolic flexibility all determine whether fasting helps you or works against you. Simple, right? Hopefully that all makes sense. Now let me give you some key takeaways. 16-hour fasts don't guarantee fat burning. Instead, insulin levels, not time, determine what fuel your body uses. Stress hormones can keep sugar available without increasing fat loss. Exercise often matters more than how long you fast. And chronic fasting without recovery can backfire, especially for women. Use fasting strategically, not religiously. Adjust your approach based on how you feel, how you perform, and what your body is telling you. And that is all for now. As always, I hope this video helped you on your journey. If you would like to learn more about fasting, I have done a dedicated episode just on this, so I recommend you check it out. Thank you again for watching, and before you go, please remember to subscribe. It helps you to make sure you don't miss another episode, and it helps the channel to keep growing and making sure it gets to the right people. Also, feel free to share in the comments what topics you'd like to explore next. I'll see you back here for the next lesson at Longevity School. Goodbye,